podcast, guys. Today we're at Huta Siallagan, one of the most popular restored Batak villages to visit in Samosir Island. So come with us and we're going to show you around today. Yeah. Okay.
Here's the payment.
Let's see how much. Terima kasih.
Alright.
Okay, so it's 10,000 per person, but Agung has the privilege of sometimes looking like a tour guide, so he get him free today.
So
Here we go. This is Huta Siallagan, and a line of beautifully restored Batak houses, which are called Rumah Bolon.
Rumah Bolon, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Rumah Bolon. So Huta means village in Batak language,
Sure,
yeah?
yeah.
And Siallagan is
Marga.
one of the Marga, and Marga is kind of like a clan or family name
Sure.
for the Batak people. So Huta Siallagan is an ancient king's village which has been restored for tourists to come and learn about the Batak culture. So we've got all these beautiful houses, including the king's house. We're going to take you inside there soon, but also there's some ancient stone chairs from an ancient courtroom, and also an execution site, which is really, really interesting, and we're going to take you there as well.
Yes. But first thing first, I want to talk a little bit about the design of this house, like the roof. Usually, I know a little bit, okay, because I'm a Caronis people, but I know a little bit of Batak. They say to me that why they make pointy roof like this, it usually at the back of the roof is, how is it, taller? Higher than in the front.
Yep.
So what? For what?
It's to symbolize that they want the next generation, so their children, to be more successful than them. So
Yep.
it's a symbolization that their children will be more successful and have a good life.
Sure. And if you see all these houses, they only have tiny windows and tiny door. Do you know why, Tali?
I don't know about the tiny windows.
Tiny doors, something like that.
Your tiny door is so that when you enter, you have to bow, and that's showing kind of respect to the people who live there,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
And also, I read that the pointy roof is reminiscent of buffalo horns, because buffalo is an important part of Batak culture.
Yeah.
So let's have a look around. They have these really cool designs as well. These are symbols of fertility. You can guess what they are. And
Oh, beautiful.
I really love how a lot of the artwork is really similar to Maori
I know, right?
culture back home in New Zealand. And I think a lot of the language is the same too, so I think they share a common ancestor way, way back.
Let's have a look inside, Tali.
Okay.
This house,
Alright.
so beautiful, guys. This house.
It might be dark in here.
Might
this
be.
is the king's house. This house is different because the other houses, the stairs go right up to the door,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But the king's house, you enter
Yep.
underneath.
So you bow yourself to show your respect.
Yeah.
All right.
Spotlights in here. So
Okay.
these houses used to be home to big families, right? A lot of people would
Yes,
live in the same
yes.
house. And they still are. Even this village, these houses aren't active. If you just drive almost anywhere outside of Tuk Tuk, you're
yeah.
going to see these old houses and people still live in them. Often they've built in a slightly more modern part at the back with
Yeah.
bathrooms and
Concrete
rooms and
system.
things, but they retain this front part.
And
Oh, but why am I puffing?
and this one is still the original bed. Can you explain better?
Yes, this is the king's bed, the like original
Yeah.
bed that the king would sleep on.
No.
Hundreds of years old. You can tell that Batak people are quite short, like me.
Right. And this one is the kitchen, right? This is the kitchen. This is where they cook Italy.
I don't retain things very well, but I've read about the design of Batak houses quite a lot. And
Yeah.
even though these are hundreds, maybe even thousands of years old, the concept of the design,
Yeah.
it's really, really scientific, the way it's built for airflow, keep things cool,
Really?
keep the rain from going. I don't know, I can't explain, but I read that the actual science behind the design of this house is really high tech for
Okay.
the temperatures and the climate that they're living in. And usually underneath, right, they're always raised up off the ground,
Yes,
and the
yeah.
underneath of the house is usually to keep, could be
pig?
buffalo sometimes,
A pig, a
buffalo
goat, a
and pig
chicken,
and goat, chickens,
or
keep the
store-
livestock under there.
or store wood. So wood keep dry,
Yeah.
not wet.
Just before we move on, I also want to note that when you're visiting here, you can ask for a guide at the front desk to come and show you around the village and fill you in on all the details highly recommend doing that to support the locals, and also you're going to learn a whole lot more than if you wander around by yourself. Alright, on to the next interesting part. I think this is really super cool. It's not just this cool tree, this is the stone chairs of Huta Siallagan.
Sure.
What's cool about stone chairs? Well, let me tell you. They are hundreds of years old, maybe even thousands. I'm sorry, I don't actually know exactly.
Yes.
But this is an ancient courtroom where hundreds of years ago there was a judge and a jury, and they tried criminals to see if they were guilty. And I believe it's one of the oldest known sort of court judicial systems in the world. And actually it's interesting because aren't Batak people still famous now for being lawyers?
Yeah.
So it's in their blood and their genetics.
Yeah, somehow. I know.
So yeah, these little tiny chairs, it looks like a little kid's tea party because they're so small.
Oh, I want to try it with maybe this is king one.
The king's one. Okay.
I like it, it's comfortable.
So I'm sure there'd be a lot of ceremony and things going on with all this, and they sit down to judge the criminal. So over here, this is where they would hold the criminal before and after the trial. You can see they've got a model in here with her foot. I forget what these things are called. They put their feet in these stocks, I think they're called, and keep them held in there. And I think days without food.
I think so too, yeah, I heard about
While they're
that.
being judged.
Yeah.
Right, and you might be wondering what happens after someone is found guilty of a really bad crime.
Yep.
They get taken to this next area, which is the execution part.
I know, this is really interesting, the execution part to this, because
It is.
I'll let you know later.
Yeah.
We will let you know later.
Here we go. Area execusi. Ooh.
100.
Did you hear that? Good timing.
100. Anyway, last night is such a heavy rain, by the way. This is
my
outside of
gosh.
the really, I don't know.
I may have cried out of fear, but I'm not saying. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
Do you want to film me?
Yes.
This is the execution area, and there was a really specific ceremony, specific timing, because the ancient Batak people and still modern Batak people have a lot of their own belief systems. There's a little bit of magic in there, right? A little bit of mythos. So back then they had a special calendar, right? This is a Batak calendar. Don't ask me how it works.
I know.
But they would use one of their guru to figure out the optimal date to execute someone, because you had to do it on the right date when their spirit was weak.
Yep.
Otherwise they could regenerate or be too powerful.
Yep.
Right? So they use that. And then I'm doing this from watching other people's. There's the execution block right here.
Yes.
When they put you lie down here. Do you want to show them?
Yes. Sure.
We'll move the execution tools out of the way. This big old knife.
Here you go.
And this big old
What is this?
spear.
Oh, this is heavy too.
Is it?
So heavy, yeah.
Wow.
It is quite heavy.
So you lie down facing the ground, right?
Yes, and this is the knife that they use, right?
Oh gosh.
Like,
But probably a lot sharper, I would hope.
yeah, sure. Like,
Okay.
oh my gosh,
You're gonna lying down
with
your head over the edge.
like this, right? I think so.
And then, and then there's a lot of ceremony around it. Really, really important, really serious.
And then,
Other things happen, but eventually, off with his head.
or my head look up to
I think you look down.
down.
Off with your head into a bucket of some sort. So the guy's had his head chopped off. He's been punished, right? But it doesn't end there, because he is believed to have a lot of power, and they don't want that power to be able to regenerate, come back to life, and they also want to take some of that power for themselves. So they will take some of the body parts. I believe it might be the heart.
I think so.
Immediately and eat some of the heart, and
Like
then
wolves,
eat some of the other body parts as well. So that's why ancient Bataks kind of have a reputation as cannibals, because they did occasionally eat the criminals.
Yes.
But not for fun, for a good
For some
sacred
reason, yeah.
for a sacred reason, yeah.
But-
And we're probably really simplifying the process, because obviously we don't know in depth, but that's the basis of it. this here is pretty cool. It's an old book, and this is actually in the Batak language, yeah?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Batak alphabet, which you actually, if you're walking around Tuk Tuk in a lot of Toba, you'll see street signs that have these lettering underneath. So it's in Batak, and
I don't know if it's calendar or what. I don't know.
I don't know.
Look at this. Whoa.
Pretty cool.
Beautiful, isn't it? That's why, guys, you need a guide if you want to know more. You know, we're not proper guide. You know.
All right, let's go take a look at the King's Tomb before we head off. Now you may have seen these if you've seen us zooming around on our bike through samosir, or if you come here, you'll see these tombs all over the place, and they're basically just really beautiful graves.
Graves, yes. Sure.
I think family generations are usually buried together in the same spot, and some of them are really fancy, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like they look like actual houses.
Oh.
There are a few generations buried inside here. Tugu, so this is the Raja
Siallagan.
So the king is buried in here.
Yes, somewhere.
Entombed in there. Oh, look at this. This is a more old-fashioned tomb. You can see this when you visit the king's tomb in Tomok. Yeah?
It's actually something inside.
Probably, but so small.
Yeah, I think it's a baby, probably.
Maybe one.
All right, so we in this area. I don't know what this is, but that's where the stone chair. I don't know, but this area is usually where people are dancing and stuff like that. You know, dancing, and then this is where ulos.
You can pose for a photo with this lovely handsome guy.
Oh, hold on. This is must be for music. How do you say?
Yeah. Sometimes on the weekends, when there's big crowds, they have performance, right? And you can do Batak dancing.
Yeah, this is the best because that's where drum.
Oh yeah, and you can put on these headgears for men, for women.
Try put one on me.
Wow.
This is what tight one.
Because your head is too big. You do look good, actually.
And then this ulos.
Ulos, traditional Batak.
Oh, this is for a woman, I think. Never mind, but
yeah,
you know
go pose next to Mr. Siallagan. Mantap. Yeah, so if you come on a weekend, it's usually busier, and you might be lucky to see some music, yeah? And dancing.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to give a demon of the dancing?
Oh. Sinanggap tulo, something like that. And I'm pretty sure this statue has meaning something.
This really looks like Maori art as well. They have such similar totem pole. This is actually a really cool statue when you get closer. It's got all of the guys and a big guy at the top. And you come around to the back, and I thought this was like a spine, a big spine. Look at the top, and it's either a big long snake or a gecko. And in the detail, I think these little fish. Maybe fish? Cool.
Alright, here we go, guys.
We're going to show you to the exit, but we're not going out the exit because you have to go through a whole lot of tourist stalls, and we are not buying stuff today. We don't want to disappoint anyone, so we're going to go back out the entrance. But if you go out the exit, there's lots of gift shops and shops. Gift shop and things to buy.
Yep.
Alright, we're out of here, out of Huta Siallagan, but where there's another really cool village we've been to before where you can see the traditional ulos being hand woven, called Kampung Ulos Huta Raja. Go watch that video up here, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.